Well, hello, my YouTube fellas and gals. So tonight we are going to continue part two of the love letters from World War II. So we shall get adjusted. You get into live chat over here. Okay. I got to share my stream out. Gonna get on my Facebook page over here. We shall see who's interested. I don't know about you guys, but I know every single time I have to set everything to public. And I've been refreshing on YouTube, and for some reason, everything goes black. It's so weird. It's like the chat goes black and comes back. So, for those who were not part of the live stream, Elsie and William is who the letters are from Elsie to, or from William to Elsie. And there's a couple more people that will come out into this story eventually. And there are a couple pictures that have popped up that I'm so surprised about. So later on, you will meet a Tom and a Dorothy, who also are included in these letters. And I got them at an auction from a locker. So I'm assuming Elsie either passed away or her family didn't want this. I don't know. I would love to know more about this couple. I did look up a couple addresses with her name, and there is an Elsie and a William that come up in California, but unfortunately, it's not them. And it was so crazy because his middle name starts with an R, so does hers. The Elsie that came up in my search, she had a complete different middle name. It's not the same people. I'd like to know if they had kids and grandkids. I'm just, interested. But anyways, here is the next letter. And if you want to catch part one, it's in the last Wednesday live. So it just says Elsie on this envelope. Hey, Sandy. And this is what the first letter says. I got caught up in their story, and I absolutely love this. This is just my cup of tea. Well, hey, Denise. I love this kind of stuff. Nothing like honoring our military in the month of December. So here is the letter. It says 22:30, and the time's usually military. It says, to my honey. Well, I just finished my work. Oh, yes, I've plenty more to do. But if I take time out to drop you a note, I think the depot will still keep going. So you asked Helen to tell me to write you a note. Do you think you write a note? You never write me one. I love this because it's coming from a male too. And I'll let And I'll bet I know why you want me to write you. Sure, you want me to tell you I love you. Well, you big mutt. He's got the funniest names for her. I'd like to tell you a million times, but I haven't room, so I'll just say it once. And he put it in great big letters that he loves her. He put, I love you. How's that? Gosh, I'm slipping. I wasn't going to write you any more notes until you wrote me one. Guess you're just mean to me. But on the other hand, I was kind of sad. I was kind of bad Saturday night, so I guess we're even. Well, Hump, he calls her Hump, short for Humpty Dumpty. He calls her Mutt, and he calls her Monkey. Says, guess I'll close for now. I do and do some more work. See you about 7 p.m. And he signs his letters, love me. This is so sweet. I love these letters. I've had such a joy reading them. The next one he puts, it says, to you from me. And it's got this cute little funky stamp up here in the corner. I don't know what that is. It says something about Admiral Pierce. I don't know if he drew that or what, but I thought that was funny. And then on the other side, look what he drew. A dog sniffing another dog's butt. I have no clue. And it says, thought I knew everybody in town. And it stretches clear out. I don't know. I don't get it, but okay. It says, to you from me. I thought this was absolutely funny when I saw that drawing. I was like, what? Okay, let's see what he has to say in this letter. And if I flub up, sorry. His writing's a little swirly sometimes. This was written 0300 hours. Me too. To my little honey. So, you finally broke down and wrote a couple lines and even called me honey. You must be slipping. I'm sorry I seem a bit temperamental. And he's got Pierce way of spelling. Something way of spelling. I don't know. Last night at times, but I did want you to enjoy the dance as it was your first public one, so you say. I just can't seem to enjoy dancing at a dance, especially, he didn't say especially, he says especially when I'm sober. I did enjoy the orchestra and the singers, and you know what I mean. Though I hope you did. Well, Hump, guess I'll close now. I can't think of much more to say. Getting sleepy. I'll see you tonight about 7. Look, he draws stick people like my husband does. Look at that stick person. He looks like Popeye. And he's got in this corner at 200 pounds. he says me in 2 more weeks. And then he put Love Bill on this one. P.S. Thanks again for the lunch. If I don't gain it, it won't be your fault. I don't know. He's got a good sense of humor, though. Hey, CDC. Listen to you. You and you're changing your name college. You're so funny. I just get to calling you college and you change your name on me. Okay. So that's letter number 2. I'll read until either you guys fall asleep or you say, I've had enough. I love these letters. I can't get enough of them. I'm so glad I was at the auction at that night. And then this one he just has for you. Look at that. Look at that. You can just see where the papers like died off each other. This was written, it says February 5th. And then the time is 2000. They write backwards like that. This is a short one. It says, to my little monkey, how can a guy refuse to write a little note to such a sweet gal? Me, for one, I love that sweet gal. Me, for one, can't. Then I talked to you on the phone for 3/4 of an hour, and here I am writing to you. How do you do it? I can't get you to write me one. Oh, well, guess I'm just a failure. They say you can't have your pie and eat it too. Maybe one night, well, now that I'm going to write, I can't think of anything to say, so I'll just close and wait until Sunday night when we can be together. All my love, me. And he's got P.S. XXX, okay? And then he's got over. Here we go. A poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. Gas is rationed, and so are you. Rationed to everyone except to me. So be what's that word? I don't know what that word. So be sure and love me while you are few. Silly, but it almost rhymes. Because, back in World War II, I guess gas was rationed. I don't know. It's just so funny. He even has humor in bad times. That's what's so interesting about his letters. Then here's a short note. It says, to my little honey, sorry I'm not able to write a large note, but I'm so busy I'll never be able to get finished. The main reason I'm sorry is because you really wrote a large note after that swell lunch. Swell lunch. He says that. You fixed me a swell lunch, darling. I don't hear that from my husband. You fixed for me, you big mutt. That's like an insult, but it's funny the way he uses it. They say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Isn't that the truth? He put can't spell. I'm sure there isn't a man in the country that wouldn't fall for you after tasting a lunch like you fixed me. Not that they wouldn't fall anyway. Well, Hump, I'm afraid I'll have to close now and try to get most of this mess cleaned up. Love, Bill. P.S. See you about 7 p.m. P.S. Anytime you want a breath of fresh air, just tell me and I will bring you anywhere, even if it's the last drop of gas. And I will. Bye now. Tell me that's not the sweetest. He would even use his last drop of gas for her. Okay, so here we have a letter from him to her. And this is after they're married. Because it shows when they dated. This here, his name was William Rossi Pierce. If anybody knows any information about these people, I would love it. He was under the Navy, and it's got San Francisco, California on here. This is the Navy address. And she became Mrs. W.R. Pierce, and she lived at this time at 1036 Main Street, Valero. I don't know how you pronounce that out in California. This was June 1940. 40 something. It's a little smudged. It might be 42. Not sure. And then you have a little aircraft plane. And by the way, if you find a plane that's upside down, printed upside down, called the Jenny, it's worth millions of dollars. Just saying. One just sold. Look up the Jenny plane stamp on Google. One just sold for like something $1 million. I forget how many millions. I don't know if it was a million or what, but I was like, holy crap. And it was when they mailed stamps upside down back in the day, it meant I love you. But this stamp is actually put upside down. But it's a Jenny plane that was actually stamped upside down on a right side up stamp. That's the one that's worth money. Okay. This is June 2nd, Saturday, 1945. So I take that back. I wouldn't say that's a 42. It's a smudged 45. Okay. Dearest darling, here I am again, Hump. No mail from you today. This paper's so soft. But I did get a box of delicious cookies. Thank you, honey. I was really busy today. Had to finish the monthly reports up today, so Holland and myself really kept going. I opened Hazel's package tonight. It was 3 cans of nuts. I haven't eaten any, but I think I'll break open a can after a while. We have one fellow in our barracks that eats a can of peanuts at the show every night, and he goes to the show every night. Well, I'm off to watch again, hun. I acquired another title. This time it's section leader. There are 5 sections, and the section leaders don't stand watch. We have to make out the watch bill, and I'm afraid that's going to be a pain in the neck. I had to change my watch. This paper is like so thin. It almost feels like onion skin paper. Bill twice today. First, they put one of my men on mess cooking and then another on ship watch. About 2 more duty dates, and all the men in my section will be screaming. I had a watch. No, wait a minute. I had a watch last time I was robbed, etc. I was something. Maybe not robbed. I don't know what that word is. I had a watch last time I was robbed, etc. They will be hollering at me like I used to holler at Kleiser. I'll bet he was glad when Yost left and I got the day shift. Oh boy, how I wish I were there now. Today, one of the student officers was checking out here in the office, and he looked at your picture on my desk and remarked, "She's beautiful. See, honey, I know how to pick them." That's so sweet. To me, hon, you're the most beautiful, loveliest, and wonderful wife in the world, barring none. Well, darling, guess that's all for tonight. Miss you awful much, hump. Miss me a little. Good night, darling. I love you, Bill. Look how fancy his writing is. Good night, darling. Look how swirly that is. I love it. That's so sweet. He's so sweet. Okay. If only some men had this etiquette today, it'd be awesome. And then here's another one written 1945. And I actually got to walk on an aircraft carrier when my husband served in the Navy, so that was really cool. I have pictures upstairs buried somewhere. We can't find his albums for some reason. We were looking for them the other day. I'll have to get my hubby's naval trip. One of these days we find his albums. I'll have to show you pictures he took. He went to Spain. He was all over the place. Dearest honey, this was Friday, June 1st, 1945. It's funny how back then they put the number in front of the month. Received your letter of the 25th, hun. Also received one from Vera and one from Gertrude. Seatrude's, I don't know, somebody's name, I think, was just a note, but she sent me a set of swell pictures. I think it was the set taken from the same Sunday Lou took hers. The day after the party, they were sure swell. There was 2 of you with Dad and the dogs, 2 of you alone, 1 of you and Gertrude, and 1 of the house. Everyone was perfect, hon. The old house sure looks good to me. I must say one thing, for its age, it sure looks good. I've spent a lot of happy and unhappy moments in that house. And honey, every picture of you seems to make you look prettier and prettier. Sure wish I were home to enjoy you, hump. Vera didn't say much, no. She's going to send me a picture of Spanky. I always say I'm going to spank people when he says Spanky. I love it. I'll bet he's getting cuter. I don't know who Spanky is, but maybe we'll hear. I always tell people I'm going to spank him, and he uses Spanky. I just think that's so funny. Every day. She seemed to have spent a busy week with her sister and topped it off when John came down for the weekend and got pretty high. Okay, that sounds funny. She said her sister had to take care of him. It sure don't take much for either one of them to get high. I don't know if they're drinking or what they're doing. Although John came out on top the last time, I still can't figure that one out. Oh, yes, I got a present from Hazel. It was marked happy birthday, a bit late, but better than never. I looked inside and there was 3 cans, but I didn't open them yet. Probably nuts and candy. I'll peek later. Played our 3rd game of volleyball tonight. We won a close one, so that gives our hub a record of 1-2 and lost 1. We're still in the running, but we need some more practices. The best part of tonight's game, I loved playing volleyball when I was in school, was was to beat Charlie Reed's hub. Must be somebody else he was against in the game. I really kidded him. You asked me if I knew what they look like. You know what I'm referring to? Gosh, hun, I don't know whether I do or not. I still have my memories, but imagination might construe them around to where they might not match up to reality. Anyway, hun, I'll wait and gladly until I'm with you again to once again acquaint myself with them, okay? Well, darling, I think I'll close her now and study a little. Seems like I'll never get to where I can write the stuff. I never have enough time to devote to studying. Oh, well, what the hell. Good night, my sweet, love you, Bill. And he signs his name at the bottom, W.P. Pierce. That's cute. Peg, how are you doing tonight? I'm continuing these love letters. It almost smells like, too, that he has a cologne or something in the letters. Because there's like a scent to some of these papers. So I'm thinking he might have had a cologne on these, because he talks later in one of the letters about perfume or something that she sent. So I'm thinking he scented these. It's almost like a faint powdery smell. So there's that. Next letter we have, and we love the airmail kind. This is so cool. And see, this is from Don. Okay. His name was Don W. Thompson. I'll hold it up so you all can see the address. And then her name, this is where I first saw the R in Pierce. LCR Pierce. So the Pierce that I found in Vallejo, California, when I typed in, there was an obituary that popped up, but it wasn't an R as her middle name. There was an Elsie that was like 90-something years old, but it wasn't the same person. I've been trying to find him. I've been Googling. So then this is where Dawn enters. And I'm thinking that Dawn was a childhood friend of hers. I'm just guessing. And he's a friend of her husband's, but he's the one who is involved with Dot that will come out later. Okay. So this is January 18th, 1945 from Admiralty Islands. It says, Dear Elsie, say my little gal friend. And the way he writes makes me wonder if he was a left-hander. Maybe it's just me or the way he was holding the paper, but he writes downhill, and I do that as a left-hander. I'm a left-hander. I'm always writing downhill. He looks left-handed, though, but who knows? Say, my little gal friend, your letters are swamping me. Day before yesterday, your January 17th, and yesterday, your letter of the 20th. It's really swell how often you write, Elsie. Thanks a million, as they mean a great deal to me. Just, they miss home and their people. I know that I don't have to tell you, but write as often as you can, and I, in turn, will never let you down. More thanks are also in order for that 127 film you're sending me. Now, I don't know what 127 film is. I know what 110 film is. I wished there was some way of repaying. And he writes on different paper. Almost feels like a tracing light paper. But he writes like in little booklets, which is really cool. It says, he says, wish that there was some way of repaying you for the ever so many thoughtful things that you have done for me. Boy, you are really swell gal friend. In fact, perhaps you had better tell old Sammy that his buddy's going to beat his time. Ha ha. Elsie, perhaps there is something I could get you here in the islands. Okay, I don't know what islands they're in yet. But a picture's coming. Try and think of something, and if I can get it, it's yours. Come now, Elsie. Don't be bashful about asking. Elsie, I'm so glad to hear that your spirits and well-being is so high. I'm certain that Bill tells you nothing but the facts as he sees them out here. Perhaps once in a while, he might slip a little white lie in on you, but we all do that at one time or another. It's only because certain items are better left unsaid. I can only imagine. For present at our respective islands, he will be okay, honey. It's going to come through, okay? I know. It has to be that way because us four have so many plans for a beautiful future together. How about it, Elsie? I know and feel that it won't be so very long either until this all comes true. You can say that again, Elsie. Where Bill is concerned, they don't come any better. What a way. He really loved his friend. And if you ask me where you are concerned also, Elsie, they don't come any better either. I don't know. You're both fine in every respect to Dottie and I, and we treasure your friendship highly. You can say that with capital letters. What I mean is Bill and I both are going to be in a rugged condition for you two gals. From the sound of your letter, it would also appear that you're prepared. Ha ha. Perhaps I'd better warn Bill as he can be on his toes when he sees you again, but I imagine you've done that, so I won't go to the trouble. Speaking of being settled, Elsie, I hope that you are all squared away now and getting plenty of rest. It's hard on a person making so many adjustments, but just keep that Pierce something out in front. Chin. Keep that Pierce out in front. Keep that Pierce chin out in front and smile, and everything is going to be okay. We'll have to sign off now, Elsie, as I'm on the mid-watch writing to you. I feel swell, and I'm getting plenty of rest and taking things easy. The only news item of interest to tell you this time is that a show, this is The Army with the original cast, is playing here tonight with Irving Berlin, Patty Good, what? Pretty good, what? Bye for tonight. Say hello to all and give them my regards. Love, Dawn. And then he puts Dottie's address. It's Mrs. Dorothy A. Thompson in Washington. I don't know. This address is weird. It's SIC wave something 25-246, Massachusetts, and NEB something Washington 16 DC. I don't know. Their addresses were like strange at one point. I don't even think we had zip codes. So that is that letter. Some of them, like I said, their letters are kind of hard for me to read, but they're interesting. And then here is the next one. If you want to ask me any questions, ask it. I'll read chat in between letters. This one is October 7th, 0000 hours. To the sweetest and best of all darlings. When I left your house this evening, I didn't know exactly how I felt. I still don't guess, although I do know I feel awfully sick and deserted with... No. Sick and disgusted with myself after I was about halfway here, I made up my mind I'd write a letter. Then I began to think of what to write. I thought of a lot of things I wanted to say, but now I can't think of so many. I really don't know that words will help, but it does take a certain amount off your chest. I always seem to make such a blunder of everything while trying so hard to just do the opposite. Darling, there's one thing I do want to impress upon you, and that is I'm not blaming you for the way I act sometimes. If there's anything I hate to do is to hurt your feelings like I did tonight. It'd really make me feel awful. So awful I could put my head under a steamroller. Being as hard-headed as I am, I don't know whether that would do any good. I do know one thing that I must confess. I don't know if it would do any good, but here it is. I think so much of you more than I have ever cared for any girl in my life that I have been trying my best to make you think as much of me. I will always try as long as we continue to go together. This is before they were married. They're mixed up a little bit, so they're not in order. I want you to know that I have enjoyed every minute of our being together, and I hope you feel you have too. When these when some little things that doesn't mean a thing comes up and I'm trying so hard to make you care and keep you caring for me at the same time, well, I get confused and I begin to think crazy things like maybe I'm making a fool of myself by trying to make her care for me as I care for her. Maybe that makes her care for me when we're together. And then when we aren't together, maybe she feels like she doesn't so much. Maybe I'm holding her back from having a better time by her going steady with me. Darling, maybe I'll be thinking of those crazy things and I'll say to myself, Bill, you think the world of Elsie, but maybe she doesn't think quite as much of you as if she doesn't love you enough to think only of you. She may come across someone she will care for more. See, I love this because he's showing his insecurity as a male and us women, we go through the same thing. That's what kills me about people saying we're different when we're really not on how we think about things. And I found his letter so interesting that way. For then she does of you, then maybe I'll think of myself that I better try to hold my love for you down, because if that day comes, it will make me feel pretty funny to say the least. And if I keep my love down, well, maybe I won't feel so bad if that day comes. Well, honey, if I have all those things on my mind to happen to feel pretty low at the same time, and I take you out feeling like that and having that on my mind, that's what causes me to act like I did tonight. I hope you understand that I'm trying to say, although I realize I hope you do, that I can't put all my feelings down on paper because it would take from now till doomsday to do it. And when we get back together, I can't seem to get started because I'll look at you and you're sweet and lovely and I just forget it all. Tell me that's not so sweet. I can't help it. Anyway, honey, if you can straighten yourself out and me out on these points, then I have mentioned, I'm sure there won't be any more bickering. Gosh, I'm running out of words and I need you now before I say any more. So if you will bring this letter along tomorrow night, we can finish it up orally. Also, there's if there's anything here that you don't understand, I can try to explain to you. Well, darling, that's all for now. So we'll close and be over to pick you up at 8 o'clock. All my loving kisses, me. P.S. Please don't feel bad about the way I acted last night because I promise I'll never be that way again, no matter what, where, when, and why. It's like the sweetest. I mean, we have insecurities as females too. We go through different things that we think, and I just think it's interesting to hear the male side. It says, don't bend. Oh, is this a picture one? We'll see. This is from Dawn again. And this is to, now her address is different in this one. Instead of the Valero, it's in Napa, California. So that's why I was looking up the different addresses. So let's see what Dawn sent. Look how cute that postage is. It's almost like an embossed stamp. Okay. Yes, here's a picture. Yes. Okay, I'll read the letter first. It says Saturday, December 2nd, 1944. Dear Elsie, and this is on United States Navy paper, which is really cool. Received your November 21st letter this morning. Was glad to hear from you again so soon. Gal friend of mine. Say, Elsie, what's the matter with Bill? I've written him several letters, but they have never been answered. I wish you would give me his new address out here so I can write him. If I use the old address, the mail would probably get fouled up again. Don't forget now, or I'll turn you over my knee. I love this guy. He's so funny too. When I see you again. I miss hearing from my buddy, and you know how much that guy means to me. He's the best friend I'll ever have. Elsie, you remember giving me Jean's address in your letter? Of all the luck, I looked up his ship and it was in. How about that, Elsie? Wasn't that swell? I'm trying right now to get in touch with him. That would sure be swell to see Jean. He's a swell fellow. Do you ever talk about your friends like that? Do you say, hey, he's a swell fellow? I think that's so cute. We'll let you know how we came out. My next letter, Elsie. Boy, I pity you, Elsie, with all that Christmas rush. From the sound of it, you could use a couple more arms to carry them and a couple more legs to carry you. Ha ha. You will make out right with all those packages, though, as you are a capable little gal. Glad to hear you got Dottie's package okay. Did you like it? You be sure and send those glamour shots to me. Say you must have had some very sexy pictures for the old man. When he said that one of them would embarrass you if you sent it to me, boy, it must be quite the pinup. Was it on the Lana Turner side? Ha ha. If it was, I get your point, Elsie. That kind of picture is strictly for Bill. You said a mouthful, Elsie. It will be the bunk this year for all of us. But we can hear it somehow knowing that you and Dottie are waiting for Bill and I. I know it won't be any fun for you or Dottie, but please, why don't you do something to take your mind off your troubles and go out and have a little fun? Because Bill wouldn't want you to shut yourself in. He knows damn well he can trust you, and that guy really loves you. See what I mean, honey? You have a reason for complaining, Elsie. Don't ever think you have it. It's harder on you and Dottie being home and having to worry about us. Not that we don't worry about you. However, who wouldn't have a couple of guys like us have the two most beautiful, lovable girls there are? But we may know, each one of us, that everything is going to turn out okay. How about it, Elsie? Elsie, I'm on watch, so I'll have to back off for now. There isn't anything new to tell you at all. Still feeling okay and on the job, same as usual. Write me as soon as possible, Elsie, and I'll be sure to send me those glamour girl shots. Take good care of yourself. Don't worry about Bill too much. And for heaven's sakes, don't work too hard. Bye for now. See you soon. Lots of love, Dawn. And the picture is to wish you happiness at Christmas and all the new year from the Admirades. And he's got Dawn, and it's a picture of a village. Let me see if I can focus. And then on the back, it says, Elsie, dear, this can't even touch what I want to say. You know, I want you to have a nice Christmas. Well, he put Xmas and New Year's. The best ever under the conditions. Sorry I couldn't send you a present, but next year we will all be together and that will be the best Xmas ever. P.S. The picture's front is one of the native villages nearby. Because, you know, when they're in the military, they can't tell exact location. So I'm not sure, but it's a village where they were stationed. So that's the first picture. I love sharing this story with YouTubers. I really do. I love sharing this with you guys because it's just exciting. Hey, Frozen. How are you doing? You guys like music? You got to go hear Frozen. He just rocks that electric guitar. He's such a sweet person. And the next letter we have, I hope you all enjoy this journey as much as I do because this is fun. This is another one from Dawn to Elsie. She tears open her letters like my husband does sideways. This was February 1st, 1845 on a Thursday. It says, "Hello, beautiful. Don't think I'm getting bald, Elsie, but after seeing that picture of you, bold." He said bald. Don't think I'm getting bold, Elsie, but after seeing that picture of you, which you sent me, those are the only words I can find. Your picture was swell, Elsie, and it was just what I wanted. Say your old man had better watch his step, or I'm liable to beat his time when I get home again. Ha ha. No kidding. It was the nicest picture you have ever taken because it pictured you so perfectly in every detail. You certainly didn't fool around. When I asked for a pinup of you, you have to admit it, don't you? Wasn't it swell? Anyway, Elsie, now that I have your picture, you can be certain it's going to occupy a most choice spot on the top of my locker alongside Dottie's picture. And now when I get lonely, all I'll have to do is just take a look at my numbers 1 and 2 girlfriends, and I know that it will chase away my blues. That's so sweet. Have some other news for you this time. Last night I saw the fourth and the last performance of the original show, This Is the Army, with Irving Berlin. It was a swell show, Elsie. The vaudeville scene, the music. And last but not least, Irving Berlin, as he sang some of his hit tunes, among which was White Christmas, Alexander's Ragtime Band, and God Bless America, made it the finest show we have had yet. I hope that it gets a Bill's way after leaving here, Elsie, because it's not only good entertainment, but good for the spirits too. Well, gal, that's about all, except that I received a letter from your hubby the same day I received your picture. He talks about you in every letter, Elsie. Either it's Elsie has done this or that, and that he loves you very much and can hardly wait until he's with you again. If you ask me, Elsie, I think that Big Mutt is really wild about you. Who can blame him? We have the best wives there are, Bill and I. That is so sweet. So sweet. Well, it's time to go back to work. As I'm on the mid-watch at this rating, I feel swell just as Bill's been feeling, getting lots of rest and not working hard at all. Don't you worry about us guys, Elsie. Bill and I are keeping in shape for you and Dottie. Oh man. Won't ask you any questions this time, so it's up to you to supply me with all the latest news about yourself. Right as soon as possible. Bye for tonight. Thanks again. P.S. What's the latest about Al? Love, Dawn. And Al is Elsie's brother. I think I read about him last time. Al was getting married to a girl named Nellie, and she was helping with the wedding preparations. So this is another one from Dawn. Let's see here. This was Thursday, January 18th, 1945. This was for my birthday. My birthday's in January. Dear Elsie, truly sorry to hear that you haven't received some of my latest letters to you. Elsie, you know that I wouldn't let you down in any way. What do you want me to do when I see you again? Turn you over my knee? Ha ha, no kidding, my little girlfriend. You will see when they get there. Probably have been fouled up somewhere along the line. Dottie told me a little about a week ago that she hadn't heard from me also in 2 weeks. Since that time, she has received most of my letters in fairly good time. Can't blame you for feeling a little blue about not hearing from me because you know that it affects me the same way your when your letters are delayed in arriving here. Cheer up, Elsie. Keep that chin out and don't let things get you down. Okay, give your pal a big smile. See, that was tough that you had to move from Napa. Still, it's probably better for you, like you said, because it was a very inconvenient be that far away from home and having to take those bus rides every day. By the way, was your something in Vera's the result of her having see, by the way, was your moving in Vera's the result of her having too many something in running the house? Too many expenses in running the house. I can see where it'd be pretty hard on Vera having to take care of the baby in the house also. I know that you probably helped her out a lot, Elsie, because you're always helping someone one way or the other. Anyway, give me the lowdown about everything if you are comfortably settled now. Heard from Bill several days ago. He didn't have much to say other than that he was busy and had been feeling okay. So don't worry about him, Elsie. Everything's going to be fine with him, and he will make out all right because you can't get it pierced down. How about it? This war can't last much longer. And when it's over, the four of us will have so much fun. We'll be able to make up for all the good times we are missing now. I know one thing, and that is that you and Dottie are going to be loved like never before. Ha ha. Bill's probably told you so. And needless to say, I've warned Dottie many times. Ha ha. We'll all just take a nice trip to Oregon and lose ourselves for a few weeks. Boy, that sounds like heaven. How about it? Well, Elsie, as I'm on watch, I tried to finish your letter and work also. Perhaps I'd better knock it off for now as it's piling up on me. Haven't a thing to tell you about myself other than the usual. I feel swell. My moral couldn't be better. We'll tell you more when I receive your next letter, as there will be things you probably want to know. Miss you and Bill and my little honey very much. Take good care of yourself, Elsie. Don't work too hard and get plenty of rest. Say hello to everyone for me. Give them my best. Love, Dawn. P.S. Did you and Al get a chance to visit my mom? Let me know soon. So there's that one. There's also a link that I want to put in. When they talk about the letters being fouled up, which we know in the military could take time. Oh my goodness, it's the llama monster. There's the llama. Hey, I have a mail I got to get out to you. I just got to get your address on it. Let me see if I could get this link real quick. When you guys get a chance, and gals, this makes perfect sense about the mail. This kind of goes with what they say. I found this video. Let me get the link to it for you all to watch later. This is so good. Let me pull it up real quick. because it talks about it, and it's also from somebody else in World War II. If I can get this link to work, because we just know how YouTube loves me not. Oh, you're going to be a pain, really. Let me see if it'll let me share through Facebook. I don't know if it'll do it because sometimes it's crazy. Yeah, I have your address written down. It'll pull this up. When you get a chance, save this link on your watch later. This is really, really good to go with World War II. Oops. I want to echo. So that's a must watch after these letters, just to let you know. Okay, the next thing we got is a manual. This is like ephemera that was mixed in. It's a teller's manual in his job. Copyrighted 1942, Bank of American National Trust and Savings. So I don't know. This was amongst her things, so I'm not sure who this belonged to or if one of them turned out to be a teller. But I thought this was a cool piece of ephemera. So that came with it. And then we have the next letter. And this is from Bill again. Let's see what Bill has to say. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cough in your ear. You're over here choking. And it's on that real thin paper again. This was July 3rd, 1945 on a Tuesday. It says, "My darling honey, well, honey, I saw Elwin today. I picked him up about 11 this morning and had him out for lunch. I showed him all around the outfit. We looked at the pictures. I have recalled old times. It was really a treat. I showed him around the pool part of the island. He really enjoyed himself. First time he rode in a car or truck in almost a year. I know he enjoyed himself a lot. He tried to get an overnight pass to come out and see me, but they wouldn't give it to him. Anyway, we had a good visit together. I put him in for a special liberty to go out and spend the day with him. The request and laying on the skipper's desk now. Hope he approves it. Elle said Elle still hopes to get back to the States by September and then maybe some stateside duty because of his age. I hope for him, but doubt it will cause. It sounds too good to be true. I don't blame him for hoping, though. To Kleiser, no, something Kleiser has a wave officer. Al Kleiser has a wave officer for his assistant. I don't know, it's somebody's name. That place is really going to the rocks. I'd sure hate to work under a wave. Vera isn't the only one anxious for you to get up and visit her. I'm afraid she will move again before you visit her, and that would be a swell chance for you to have a nice place and some company for your vacation. Well, my darling, the captain just came in and okayed my request, so I'll go out and see him in the morning. When you tell Lou, she will probably she will probably something probably I don't know what this word is. She will probably blank me something awful. Elle is just as homesick as I am. I don't know. It's that word right there. I don't know. Must close now, my darling. We have a volleyball game coming up in a short while with the Marines. You have the Navy's playing against the Marines. Isn't that cool? If they show up, miss you awful so much it hurts. Bye now, sweet. I love you, Bill. So that's that letter. I would say like curse me something awful. I don't know what that word was. Okay. Next letter. You sick of hearing my letters yet? This is from Bill. It is the 4th of July and a Wednesday. My dearest darling. Well, honey, I had my day with Elwin. I arrived at about 100 and stayed till 3. We really had a visit. He took me all over, then we went to his bunk and looked at his pictures. I met most of the fellows he works with. They all seemed pretty nice. We had a very good show. No, we had a very good chow. Turkey pie a la mode, ham, sweet potatoes, cranberries, etc. It was really good. This afternoon, we just took off our shirts and sat in the sun and talked. We talked about you and Lou, when each of us were married, where we were going for a vacation after this thing is over, and a lot of other things about what we've done since being out here, etc. Okay, Tate, get a hold of it. Hold on, it's folded a little bit at the tips. Gotta separate them. Okay. The rate's pretty decent for a guy, though. I think we both enjoyed the visit very much. Elwa's coming over tomorrow, and I'm going to have him out to noon chow, and he'll go back about 3. It will probably be the last time I see him for some time, but I can say we've taken advantage of this opportunity. A real holiday for both of us. I guess if you haven't, you will call Lou up. She will be real happy. Elvin looks good and is getting along okay, so she should have no worries. He had a roll of 116, so there's another film I never heard of. So I'm going to borrow a camera and we'll take some pictures of ourselves tomorrow. I hope I can get them developed some way. 110 is all I heard of. I don't know these other numbers. I received your letter of the 22nd today, hon. Glad you got the yacht. I don't know. Funny, yours took longer to arrive than the folks, as I mailed them the same day. I don't know. Is that a type of film? Glad you got the yacht. YAUK. Never heard of it. Don't worry about the few Japs left on this island. So it must be Japan. They are hid, and in short, am not going to try and find them. Incidentally, hun, see if you can get me some 616 or 620 film. We can't get any out here. Well, darling, guess I'll close now. Went to the show tonight and saw Diamond Horseshoe with Betty Gable. So it's pretty late now. The picture was good, though. Miss you terribly, your honey, Bill. I like when he talks about the films and stuff that they see, too. That's pretty cool. So you know what was planned back then. So that must have been where the village picture was taken then, that I showed earlier. How cool is that? Anybody want to say anything? Nobody's talking. Okay. Next letter. Look at these. I love these beautiful airplane 6 cents stamps are really pretty. So this is from Bill again. This is July 5th, 1945, on a Thursday. It says, my dearest darling, received your letters of the 28th and 29th today. Also need one from Alta. What a letter that was. It was jammed full of lousy jokes, and I frankly think Arlene or Cookie could have written a more sensible letter. Oh well. I know Alta is still the same. Guess she will never change. So Betty Perfo Jordan had a baby. Wondered if that baby looks like her. Hope not. That's not nice. Never did go for her much. Too much of a hair brain. Maybe I just compare them all to you, and that's why they don't ever come up to par. You're so far ahead of them, they could never come up to your level. That's hysterical. He called her harebrained. Bad Bill. Seems like the weatherman is turning the weather from cold to hot, etc. See, we got bipolar weather too. They did back then too. That's one thing about this weather. It's always hot, although some days hotter than others. Had Elwin up today. I managed to get him out here by sly methods, but we wanted to be together because gosh knows when we'll see each other again. He brought his friend along and I showed them around part of the island. Couldn't get away for too long. Anyway, they really enjoyed getting off and back on some good earth. Wait a minute. They really enjoyed getting off and back on some good earth. Okay. Elwin had a roll of 116 he gave me, so I borrowed a camera and we snapped the roll. Now all I have to do is get them developed. That really is a job. I'll do my best, although it will probably be some time before I do succeed. Well, Humpty Dumpty. And that's when I realized when he called her Hump all the time that he meant Humpty Dumpty. Guess that's about all for tonight. Miss my honey awful much and dream of you night and day. Good night, sweet. I love you, Bill. So that's sweet. So cool. I get to read their dating letters and now they're married letters. Some of the dates were faded or I would have put them in order. Are you guys sick of my letters yet? How many people we still got in here? Did I put you to sleep? I see 6. Okay, so we're going to go to the next letter. This is from Bill again. This is July 6, 1945 on a Friday. My dearest darling, received your swell package today, but no mail. Gosh, but you look good in that picture, Hump. That pen is really attractive on you. Anything looks good on my honey. I wore the shower shoes tonight, but now into a little trouble. The darn colors started to come out and they made my feet all purple. He dyed his feet. That's hysterical. I'm going to soak them and get the rest of the color off. Then they will be just perfect. The nuts and cookies were swell. Talking about nuts, the folks also sent me a can of mixed nuts, which that's so funny. My hubby loves cashews. Received today. Last but not least, thanks for the info bulletin. I had missed that issue and also the May issue. If you get that one, I would like to have it, hun. I'll be getting the bulletins every month from now on, but they skipped up on those 2 issues. Went to the show tonight and saw Brother Rack with Ronald Reagan, Wayne Morris, Jane. This is when Ronald Reagan was an actor. Is that like not crazy? Jane something, Patricia Lane, and it was a very good. It's an old picture, but I hadn't seen it. We had quite a bit of rain today, but it's still awful warm. I'm sitting here sweating up a storm. Gosh, hun, I'm running out of things to say. Guess I'm a pretty poor letter writer. What do you think? You should be a good judge by now. Anyway, hun, I could tell you how much I miss you and love you. Will be inseparable once I get home to you. Well, close now, sweet. So just keep writing me your wonderful letters and telling me how much you miss and love me. Good night, hun. All my kisses, Bill. Isn't this fun? I don't know if you all find it fun, but I enjoy this. Like, ugh, I enjoy getting lost in our story. Next, it's another one from Bill. This is July 7th, 1945, on a Saturday. My dearest honey, received a letter from Lou today, but none from you, hun. She sure will be tickled when you tell her I saw Elle. She sent me a picture of the puppies they have. They are so cute. We'll have to have a dog when we get our own home. I really like dogs, good ones. I just finished playing cards. We were playing raw rummy. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I've heard of rummy, but this one has a name. It's either raw rummy or Paul Hunt. It looks like raw rummy. I don't know. So little to do that you haven't done a million times before. The picture of this show was Boomtown. I saw it a long time ago and I didn't feel like seeing it again, although I probably wouldn't remember very much of it. Al was telling me he's thinking seriously about trying to buy that lot next door to him. I frankly don't know why he wants it except to build a workshop to tinker in, but I can't see that that's reason enough to sink in a lot of money in it. Oh well, it's their money. Gosh, but it's warm. I wonder if it's much warmer where Don is. I pity him. If it is, I'll bet if I gathered all the perspiration together that comes off me, I could float a ship in it. Maybe not that much, but it sure seems like it. Honey, do you realize that this coming Tuesday, the 10th, will mark 3 years from the date of our first date? Gosh, but a lot has happened since that time. The most happy part of my life was spent in it too. Makes me feel lonesome thinking about it. I miss you so much, hon. We'll close now until tomorrow. So good night now, sweet. I love you, Bill. That is the sweetest. Is anybody still alive? Are you still alive? Are you still alive? Yay, college. Look at you. You're fierce. Yay, Sandy's hanging in. Llama's hanging in. All right. Here's the next one. Oh, we got more pictures. I have to show it. Okay. This one here is July 8th, 1945, on a Sunday. It says, My dearest darling, really hit the jackpot again, hun. Received your letters of the 30th, 1st and 2nd. So received that. 30th anniversary card hump. I mentioned it in my letter last night. I've never forgot that day 3 years ago, the 10th, when we had our first date. You were all sunburned, and I was scared to death to put my arm around you for fear you would yell I was hurting you. Ah, yes, that was a great date in our life. I also received 3 pictures of a very cute baby, which I don't know in with the card. You failed to mention who the baby was or anything about it. Kind of slipping, hun. Anyway, I'm going to send the pictures back with this letter, and you can tell the mother The baby is sure cute. Looks something like the one we'll have. Isn't that sweet? Gosh, I just got so sleepy. I had to get up and walk around a few minutes. I had our telephone switchboard operator start playing some records to keep me awake. Telephone switchboard operator playing records. I mean, hello. That is so cute. I wish we had that today. I don't know if you guys know it, but in my time, we had a 0 we could hit and call the operator. I used to talk to our operator sometimes. I would dial 0 at night just to have somebody to speak to. I had some great conversations. That's me, though. I would do that. We can play records on our loudspeaker phonograph, and they sure sound good. Makes this paper is so thin, I don't want to rip it. Me awful homesick for my honey. Remember when we used to dance at the something alley, Grand Alley? Gosh, hun, you really poured it on last Sunday, working from early morning to late at night on your day off. I guarantee there won't be any of that when I get home. When Sunday comes, we'll slip off somewhere in the car and go where we'll be all by ourselves with nothing to do. You agree, hun? I remember Smith, who you sent the clipping of. He's a nice fellow. I guess the lucky dog will never leave the States. Those specialist rates are really the rates to hold. His wife looks very nice, but still not as nice as mine. So you had a little trouble with your hair being oily. If I know you, you worked yourself up into a sweat worrying about it. Don't worry, hun, you'll look perfect. No matter how your hair is set. Glad to hear Peggy's happy. I sure hope she gets along okay in married life, but I still can't feature her as a MOS. I don't know. If she has the stuff, it will show now. I must admit, she worked it very nice to get her time off. So Fred Bart Betline, Barbetline, somebody's name, Fred Barbetline, is a JG, whatever that means, or JQ in the Navy Air Corps now. Must be abbreviation for something. I guess he's been in the States all the time. Fred was a nice kid, but I still think he got stung when Barter's something got him stung by a bee. Oh, maybe she turned out all right now. I don't know. They have different slang back then. I don't know if he means he literally got stung by a bee, or he's making that comment about somebody being not a nice person, because it says maybe she turned out all right now, especially since she had a baby. She was sure anything but a poise when she worked in the office. I don't know. Mary seems to be anxious as she's moved her date up for the 14th. That's only 6 days away. Wish I were there to see you as a bridesmaid. Hope the best man realizes you're married. Maybe you had better tell him I'm big and husky and awful jealous, okay? That was cute. Okay, it was a suggestion. Gosh, seems I wrote quite a bit for a sleepy guy. Been a lazy day. played cards, rummy, played a little volleyball, and took the show tonight. The picture was Hanover Square with Laird Krieger and somebody Darnell. Lou Darnell? I don't know. It was a murder picture and I enjoyed it. Something like Jack the Ripper. We saw it together. Oh, he likes the kind of shows I like. True crime. Well, darling, we'll close now and hit that old sack. I miss my honey awful much. Good night, sweet. Love you, Bill. He said it was like Jack the Ripper. It was called Leude Darnell. I don't know. Don't know. But here's the baby pictures that were sent, and she's stinking cute. On the back, it says Suzanne at 10 months old. You should see her now at 1 year. I don't have a mention of a Suzanne, but I'm going to show you the baby pictures because she is stinking cute. So here is the first baby picture she sent him. It's a little baby on a blanket. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Hold on, let me get it in StreamYard. I hate looking at stuff on YouTube. There we go. So we have this cute little baby. There's one picture. There's another picture. And here's another picture. Love these black and whites. Look how cute. My favorite was when kids grab their toes and they played with their toes. But this is the second set of pictures that I got in the letter so far. She's cute. When I first saw him, I thought, did they have a baby? And I'm like hurrying up trying to read the letter, but it wasn't theirs. Darn it. Hey, Barney. Barney Rubble. I thought Barney Rubble had an E in his name. I thought it was Barney. Welcome to the Crazy Stream, where we read real cool letters from World War II. So here is another one. Love them. I love these. July 9th, 1945, on a Monday. My dearest honey, just got back from shorthand class. I mean, seriously, people, when I read that he was taking shorthand, I about died. I sucked at shorthand. I can't even imagine being in the Navy and a guy having to take shorthand. This poor man. We have a new instructor again. Wonder how long this one will last. We're going 2 nights a week now, starting Thursday. I think that's a lot better. Okay, I think that's a lot better. I had a real surprise at school tonight. I met a fellow I used to work with in the bank. Oh, so he was a teller. He was in a class on the other end. That's a teller book I showed you earlier. Of the building from where ours is. I spotted him, but I couldn't be sure whether he was the fellow I knew or not. I couldn't remember his name, and he was having the same trouble recognizing me as I was him. Anyway, after class, I do that. Remember people by their face. I can't remember their names. It's awful. I went up, and then we both recognized one another. He is stationed just above my outfit. He came back from school with me, and he started to remember all the old things over again. I'm going up to see him the first chance I get so we can have a good visit together. We were pretty good friends before. Fact is, I spent a couple nights at his house in Frisco when we went out and had a few drinks after working hours. Sure is good to see someone you knew back in civilization life and be able to talk over old times. I received a letter from Hazel today, but none from you. Darn the mailman. Hazel didn't have much new to say. They still haven't got the lot. Wait a minute. They still haven't got the lot back, but should know by this time for sure. I don't know what that means. Wait a minute. Darn the mailman. Hazel didn't have much new to say. They still haven't got the lot. That must be the lot he was talking about. Bought. Should know by this time for sure. Hope they get it as in a very nice district out by Lou and Lily. Well, darling, guess that's about all for now. That was that piece of land he was talking about. Miss my honey awful lots, more and more each day. Good night, sweet. I love you, Bill. P.S. I'll request some more 620 film for you in tomorrow's letter. Then we'll get it. I'll expect some pictures from you. He wants pictures of his honey. So there's that letter. And the next letter we have, I love this, like reading mail to you guys. I don't want this to ever end. You know, July 11th, 1945 on a Wednesday. I mean, I like the war to end. I just like the story. My darling honey, yesterday being payday, I was a bad boy and did it right last night. Have a few minutes this morning and we'll try to make up for it. We played cards last night and no one stopped until taps. Just about that time, I noticed I had no mattress cover, so by the time I got one in the dark, it was getting late. Received your letters of the 3rd and 4th yesterday. That picture, those endearing young charms sound so good. I think I agree with the man in that case. To get married and leave for overseas in a few days isn't such a good idea to my notion. People do it every day. Though, and it's really hard to say exactly what one would do if they were in that fix. I'm glad we weren't when we married. It was bad enough to know I had to go someday, even though it was only a few days. So Marge was chasing around while Bill Scholes was up in Alaska. It don't surprise me any, as she chased around plenty when they were going together. Ooh, this was a bad girl. It apparently made Marge and Barbara Erickson close friends by one chasing with the other and marrying the same guy. Funny world. I drew all the money I had on the books yesterday, Hump. So I'm sending you these money orders. I'm thinking he means to save away. Money orders to something away. So, oh, how am I doing, Hump? Okay. Every little bit helps. Well, honey, I'm going to have to close this to get it censored and in the mail. Miss you terribly, darling. Bye for now. I love you, Bill. Censored, I guess they must read their letters. I don't know. You said get it censored. Because I noticed they say passed by naval censor. I don't know. Does that mean they read them? Interesting. See ya, Dee. You're leaving me. You take care, Sandy, and have sweet dreams. And then here is the next one. July 12th, 1945 on a Thursday. It says, my dearest darling, didn't write last night. Thought I'd have some more to say this morning. No mail yesterday. I just fooled around and played cards last night. Had kind of planned to go to the show. This is the Army. It's a stage show with 160 men, all Army GIs in it. About the time we were to leave, it started to pour down and looked like it would keep it up, so I backed out. So we're going in a truck. Tonight I have to go to school again, so I'll miss you again tonight. Oh well, I'll live. Another 1/3 C in the office now. He just made it last month and is to stay in the office for a couple of months until he becomes familiar with the yeoman work and work. I'm singing that song twice in my hands now. At any rate, I can get some of the studying in on shorthand. I need it. Talking about shorthand, have you a shorthand dictionary? If so, send it to me. If you don't need it, hun, or try and pick me up one if you get the chance. Well, darling, that's all for now. Miss my honey awful lots. Bye for now. I love you, Bill. P.S. See if you can get some 620 film. I still can't believe he's taking shorthand. That's just crazy. I hope he don't write in shorthand because I can't read it if he does. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Here is the next one. Okay. This is July 13th, 1945. My dearest darling, no mail yesterday, so waited till this morning to write. I went to the show last night and saw This Is the Army. It's an all-Army cast. Was really, really good. I think it was by far the best and biggest stage show we've ever had so far. They played at a new theater, which is the best we have on Sarpan, Sarpan. The CB's just finished it. It's an amphitheater which seats 4,000 or more. It's even streamlined and far surpasses any other show on the island. It rained cats and dogs for a while, but finally stopped about halfway through the show. He enclosed a program, people. That is so cool. These people were so thorough in their writing. I love it. The show I'm enclosing is a program of the show. There were no girls in it, but the soldiers dressed up like girls, and it was really a laugh. Oh my goodness, that sounds funny. I did get a letter from Al yesterday. He didn't say any more than what he told you, but it sounds like Okinawa to me. He said he really enjoyed his stay in the States with Nell and the baby. Maybe the baby is what it took to straighten him out. Anyway, I hope it stays that way when he gets home to stay. Once he settles down to a little serious thinking, he's okay. I'm going to try and drop him a line this evening. Well, darling, guess that's about all for now. Have to turn to and also get this sensor to catch this morning's mail. Miss my honey awful much. Bye now, sweet. And I love you, Bill. And then here is the program. United States Army presents Irving Berlin's All Soldier, This Is the Army. It says, music and lyrics by Irving Berlin, musical numbers and dances staged by Sergeant Robert Sidney, scenery designed by Lieutenant John Koenig, costume designs by Sergeant Joseph Fretwell III, musical director Sergeant Milton Rosenstock, entire production staged under the personal direction of Mr. Berlin. Production in the Pacific Ocean areas under the supervision of the United States Army POA Special Services Section. You have the overture. The opening chorus is the company. This is the Army, Mr. Jones. Sergeant Dick Burney, I'm getting tired so I can sleep. Don't sing, go into your dance. Sergeant Julie Oceans, Mandy. Military vaudeville. Ladies of the chorus, military vaudeville again, with my head in the clouds and the American Eagles. This is just awesome. And then this is the rest of it. I don't want to read it all because there's a lot. But could you imagine the guys dressed as girls? I bet that was funny. It'd have been cool to see this as a recording. So there's the program. I love this. I mean, he included so much in his letters. So much. And then here is the next one. I take a break, and yes, I do read your chats. I saw what you said. All you said was hi, Barney. That's all that shows up. You didn't even say anything to read, Goofy. This is July 1945 on a Saturday. I'm going to read this. Will be the last one. And then we're going to save this part. I still got a lot, guys. There's a lot to these letters. That's why I said it's like the never ending story, but I love it. It's going to suck when it does end because I love these. Dearest, my dearest honey, I'm writing last night's letter this morning, hon. This is a much better time to write as it's much cooler, but I don't always have the time. I received your letter of the 6th yesterday, hon. If I was a little, no, it was pretty skimpy letter, but I loved it just the same. I'm sorry I seem so matter of fact about telling you of Elwin, but I wanted to be sure you would know I was going to see him. I was plenty excited about it, as you should know. I told Elwin that's the way you would take it if we get to see each other again. Before this war's over, we'll have a good laugh about that. You mentioned having a weekend at Dot's. Who is Dot? You don't mean Dorothy Thompson, do you? And that is who Dawn's married. Dawn and Dorothy, that's cute. My mom's name is David Dorothy, so I thought that was awesome. I'm sure she is back east by now, or should be. I went to the show last night and saw Conflict with Humphrey Bogart and Alexis Smith. It was a murder story and a very good. I think you would enjoy it if you haven't seen the picture before. I made a good trade the other day. I traded a roll of film you sent me for a nice dictionary. I only had a small one. I bought it in Pearl, and the activity didn't have one, so now I'm well set. Well, my very lovely wife, I must close and get to work. Miss you every minute, darling, and love you more with each passing day. Your honey always, Bill. I know it wouldn't. It's amazing. These letters are so amazing. It's like, I love this correspondence. It's awesome. I wish I still had all the letters my husband wrote me when he was in the Navy. I lost them in my journals and everything in a fire. It's sad, but it is what it is. I love talking on the phone. My hubby was always the one that didn't like talking on the phone. He was like always clippy and trying to cut me short. I'm like, no, I like talking on the phone. I'll talk to you on the phone for hours. I don't have a problem with that. I have a gift of gab. I was one of those students in school that, had the shows growth and self-control. You remember those on your report card? I had them full of check marks because I know I was always whispering to somebody and get yelled at by the teacher. But there's another, I believe I have another stack of these. I just don't know where they're at. When I got these at the auction, they were sold in lots, and I didn't get one of them. And the girl that got the other one told me she was going to sell them to me, and she never got in touch with me. But I believe this is what it looks like it's filled. I had 2 of these. There's 70 letters in this one, and I have another bundle. I just don't know where they're at. So we can continue this story for a while. But I wanted to do this for the month of December. So if I only get through these, I'm okay with that. This is the rest of the first lot that I got at the auction. Where did this come from? I have no clue. But it's hard to tell what's mixed in with these because they were a lot out of a locker. So I don't know what all's in them. I just wish I knew what they look like. But I can say this. I'll give you a sneak preview. There is a picture of Dawn coming up. I do have a picture of Dawn, the Dawn Thompson. I don't have one so far of Elsie. I haven't read the second batch, so I don't know what's in it. So I don't know if there's actually a picture of Elsie and Bill in these or not. But I do have a picture of Dawn in this batch that I will share. But I'm going to go for now because I'm hungry. I didn't even eat dinner today, and I'm starving. I got to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. But I will, for the rest of the month of December, on the Wednesdays, I will continue these letters because I wanted to donate my lives to the month of December to the military people. And I think we should say prayers and keep them in our prayers. And, everybody that goes out there and fights for us, they deserve it, male and female. And this is my dedication to them and the people who served before them. So with that, whatever time zone you're in, that's right, I'm a blabbermouth. I will see you soon. Be good. Oh, do you want some gossip? I can give you some gossip before I leave college. Let's see. What's the gossip for today? In the crafting community. We'll do a gossip talk. Oh, let's see. We have people who've been out there going into the sales and sticking people and not paying for their orders. I have my little list of people that are on block because they will never be welcome into my sale because they've stuck me and other people. What else was I going to say? Oh, people who have sales, just take my advice. When you go shopping for something and you walk into Walmart or any place like that, you actually get to check your stuff out. You get to walk into a store, you get to see the size of something, and even if it's a paper line, you can flick through it and buy it. And I'm so tired of these sellers just pushing for money, and you only get to see a tiny bit of the product before they put the go in, and all these people are jumping with the me, and it's like, I haven't even seen what it is yet or enough of it. Yeah, I have my complaints, believe me. I'm gonna complain. Everything else seems to be pretty cool though. But the sad news of the week is I posted on my Facebook about Allie. Her real name is Karen. She used to come on here as Allison. We called her Allie. She's dying right now, and her family, I just want everybody to keep her in their prayers because she was and is such a funny lady. She touched a lot of lives in the crafting community. I have private messages that me and her shared on Facebook and things like that, and I really will miss her. I had wondered where she was. There was a couple people that kind of disappeared, and one of them was really bad sick with COVID and was recovering, but Allie, her liver, and she's having heart failure, and they've got hospice. So her daughter posted, "It's a matter of days." And it broke my heart when I first hold it, and I try to hold it together when I'm on YouTube to announce these type of things, but I really will miss her. She has a great corny sense of humor. She was fun to talk to, and just keep her in your prayers. I love my prayer warriors on here because my nephew Matt, I showed his picture when he was at his worst, and he looks so good. And I never ever not believe in the at least I don't will never not believe in the power of prayer because I've seen the difference it can make. And Matt's doing fantastic. He looks so good. And he came a long way for recovery. So yeah, I will be keeping Allie and her family in my prayers, most definitely. And her husband seems to be a really sweet person too. So I have her address. I had just sent her a Christmas card. I had her on my mind the whole day the other day when I was sending out cards, and I just can't believe that when I saw her daughter post that, I didn't realize she was in that bad a shape until I saw it. What else is going on? Not really a lot, just same old, same old. I don't know when I'll do a live sale again. I do have to announce to the people who have bought law books off me, I haven't even started invoicing. If you can just hang in there. I don't know if it will be after the holidays because I have so much to do to get my house ready for my grandkids and stuff to come here. But if not, because I said at the end of the month of November, but our water tank blew. And thank goodness I moved a lot of my books, but there was some destruction. I have no clue the damage. I know that the books weren't really that important. I think it was just Harlequin romances that were sitting in a box that got destroyed, which is no big deal to me because they're not my favorite books anyways. But I don't even know, you know. I mean, thank God we had two drains for the water to go down, but it just shot out of the top of the tank, come out of the bottom of the tank. And it took us a few days to get somebody in here to replace it because we had to figure out where the money was going to come from first and then who we were going to go with because Lowe's kind of gave us the runaround. So we went with a mom and pop shop, which I do recommend to try to support in these times because the small businesses are going to be struggling. So I'm glad we picked who we did because they're good anyways. So they came in. We got a brand new hot water tank. We're happy. We have hot water back. We had to get showers at my daughter's. So it's been kind of eh. And then he woke up and his toilet was running on the floor. We have a guest room that has a separate bathroom. And the carpet was soaked and that floor was soaked because it needed a flapper. So we had to take the guts out of the tank. But yeah, I told him, thank God it wasn't the base of the toilet because then we would have had problems. But it was just the flapper. So we got that part fixed. But it was another mess. We had carpet wet, a floor wet. Now both of them are fixed. We're good. But this always happens at the end of the year. You know, every year at the end of the year, it seems like right before Christmas, something happens. And plus, the people who know about my vehicle story, that's another story. I have an old car that's from the 2003 that's fallen apart. So I had to get another car. And the people we bought it off of were supposed to send the title. And we waited and waited, and the plates, the temp plates went out, and I couldn't drive it. So come to find out, my husband, he ended up doing the legwork because it's a branch that branched off of another, and they are definitely not organized. So my husband did all the legwork. He did all the running, and it hadn't even left. We waited for 2 months for my plates to come in, and they didn't even do the work at their title. The person that does their titles didn't even do the work. It was still sitting there. So my husband had to do all the running for it. I finally got my license. And I just have to say, my license plate sucks. And I'm going to change it. I'm waiting for my plates to come in because I'm having personalized plates put on because it come out with the word die in front. Literally, D1E and then 3 numbers. Well, in this day and age, I don't want somebody reading that behind my car with COVID and the loss of all the people that's been dying here lately. And I did lose a high school friend who was also married to my cousin, and they had a son. Even though they got divorced, me and him went to school together. He died of COVID here recently. I don't want people reading that on my license plates. I know sometimes, when you're feeling down, like this happened to me one time. I was going through a really bad period in my life once. And I remember being at the doctor's office and it was pouring down raining. And yes, I'm going to share this with you all, whether you want to hear it or not. And I was bawling my eyes out. And this is when I was still a smoker. I was outside having a cigarette. And I remember feeling so bad that day, just so low. And this plates went by me on the front of a car and said, Jesus loves you. And it was like, it picked me up more than anything that day, just to have that said. So I do believe that people feel that when they see signs, it means something. And I don't want people looking at my plates and seeing the word die. So I told my husband, you can make a joke out of it all you want, but I don't think it's funny and I want it changed. And then when I told one of my best friends, she goes, get rid of it. And she says that it's so funny because she's a nurse and she pulled into a parking lot and said to me that she saw the same numbers at the beginning, but the last three digits were different by one number. And I said, when my husband went in to pick up the plates, he even said the person who waited on him looked at him and he looked at her. They didn't even say anything. She says, I know, but we can't do nothing about it. It's the order and the way the plates come in. So just so you know, D1E is like really popular right now, and it 2 plates now that's had it. So, and this is a terrible time for that kind of a license plates to come out. So I'm getting it changed, but I gotta wait for the title to get up here for me to get my registration in the mail, and I'm changing it. I told him I already know what my license is gonna say. I already typed in the availability and it's available, so I'm gonna get a new one. It's just been one of those things, the end of the year, blah, blah, blah. But my prayer going into 2022 for everybody is I want us all to have a break. This has been my prayer. I want us to have a break for the entire year of 2022. Let's not have no deaths. Let's have some positivity in our life because we just need to breathe, and that's my wish. We can't step off and make time stop and just get and catch our breath. But I hope 2022 brings a lot of breathing room for people because I think in this time we need it. But anyways, so with that, I am going to go because I'm hungry. I got to go and figure out what I'm going to get out of my little Mother Hubbard cupboards upstairs. And I do hope you all have a great evening. And thanks for spending your time with me and listening to me ramble my letters and ramble my choppers. And I'll see you soon. Bye.